and welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and the goal of our show is to explore a wide range of topics that challenge us to see ourselves, our community, and the world around us, that get us thinking and get us connected. Our topic today is sports, fun, gala magic, and celebrating LGBTQIA and allies at a big party coming up on September 26th. In 2016, Stonewell Sports began as a small kickball league of around 150 players dedicated to LGBTQIA and sports, and has now grown into a thriving community of more than 3,500 active players across 7 sports and thousands more who've participated throughout the years. That's a decade of games played, friendships formed, chosen family found, community impact made, and countless unforgettable memories. The Stonewell Sports Twin Cities 10th Anniversary Gala is an opportunity on September 26th to celebrate everything Stonewell Sports Twin Cities has meant to so many people, while also looking ahead 10 years for the sports connection and joy they bring. To discuss this today, I've got Chris Candido, who is the Sponsorships and Events Director for Stonewell Sports Twin Cities, and Suzanne Blum Grundyson. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Good. I get a good
Correct.
nod on that one. There we go. She is the Twin Cities Chapter Rep and National Tournament Director Emeritus. Currently, her title, though, is Queen of Special Projects, and she has also spent 5 years on the Stonewell Sports National Board. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for joining me and telling me a little bit more about the history. I'm going to go to you, Suzanne, first. Tell me about how this idea even came to do this 10 years ago.
So that's a great question. So Stonewell Sports is a national organization that started in 2010 in Washington, D.C. A group of queer folks wanted to play some sports together and make it a little more organized. And they used to camp out on the mall, on the National Mall in D.C., just to get a spot in the grass to play kickball every week. And somewhere in that first year, they formed a nonprofit. They formed an organization. For 2 or 3 years, it was just in DC. And then some of those friends moved to Raleigh, and they started one in Raleigh, and it grew from there. And now it is a national organization comprised of 28 chapters around the country. Stonewell Sports Twin Cities started in 2016. It was founded by our original president, Josh Crossan. He had lived in another city that had Stonewell Sports. And when he moved here, he missed it and he wanted to play. And at the time, there was only a couple of queer sports leagues, and they weren't sports he played. So he wanted to start it here and give a go of it with kickball in 2016, which is the summer my wife and I started playing as well. That is the very brief origin story.
I kind of get this vision of like a
Sports Twin Cities.
It's like a dandelion seed that kind of flew from one to the next and landed here with flowering, with great events and opportunities. Now you've got quite a few different sports now, in addition to kickball. I've seen dodgeball, cornhole, bocce, tennis, pickleball, bowling. This is not like the typical sports league, which I love. It's all
That's
sorts
correct.
of fun sports that you can get involved in.
Yeah, many sports leagues exist for the purpose of one sport. Like a great queer league in the Twin Cities, the Good Time Softball League, Twin Cities Good Time Softball League is great. And they're just softball, right? Stonewell Sports as a whole really doesn't try to poach or infringe where there's other great communities already happening. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't a queer kickball league, or even like, that wasn't happening in 2016 in the Twin Cities. And there wasn't a lot of like very casual rec sports. Again, very casual rec sports that existed for the queer community.
And how did you and your wife know about the kickball and being able to sign up right away for kickball? I mean, that's just not something that you think about. Ooh, who's doing kickball and how can I get involved?
Yeah, no, not at all. So I'm originally from the Twin Cities, but I had lived away for almost 20 years. And when we moved back in 2015, we did play softball and a few other sports locally. And we're still kind of trying to find our league. I played in a queer league in Chicago for a lot of years, Chicago Metropolitan Sports Association. Played lots of different sports, played football and softball and volleyball and basketball there. And we were trying to find something like that here. And a colleague of mine's sister-in-law, he said to me, hey, a bunch of queer folks are going to play kickball together in the park. Would you want to be part of it? And I said, yeah, sounds like a good time to me. And we signed up. I'm going to let Chris talk in just a second, but one of the biggest reasons that we wanted to be part of it is because they don't have gendered rules in our league. And we had played in a co-ed, not the one I had mentioned, but a different co-ed softball league here in the Twin Cities that spring. And I was a 3-sport athlete growing up, and I had asked if I could pitch. And they said, well, then we'd waste a guy at catcher, because they had rules around where men and women could play and how many needed to be wherever on the field. And there was this feeling that the women were mostly just girlfriends who came along to meet the quota. There had to be a certain number, and that exists still in some of the city rec leagues for kickball here in the Twin Cities. And what I really liked originally about reading the rules in Stonewall kickball was there was no rule around gender numbers, quotas, and who plays what position. And as a female athlete, as my wife and I have been athletes our whole lives, getting to just play whatever position we're good at or want to play or want to try, and not having to balance out and not having the ball size switched because of our gender or the rules switched. You know, I don't know if you know, but in a lot of softball leagues, if you walk a guy, they get 2 bases, but if you walk a girl, they only get 1. It's kind of ridiculous. So, yeah, that's what got us into Stonewall.
I love it. I love it. And I do want to hear from Chris, because I know a little bit about his story. But before we do, I wanted to give the vision statement and the mission statement, because you kind of touched on it in terms of, you know, how it relates to sports. And I think they're both beautiful statements. And I'd love to have Chris's feedback first, and then have him tell us also how he got involved. So your vision statement is, it's a supportive, diverse community of LGBTQ plus friends, neighbors, and allies that have fun and are committed to social equity and the greater good. And your mission statement is to bring our LGBTQ plus community and allies together to create fun, inclusive environment through recreational sports and social activities, and work toward positive change for each other and those in need. And Chris, I'd love to have you first comment on those, because there seems to be kind of a nice ending to both of those that are about what do people need and how are we supporting that? And then I'd love to hear how you got involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big picture of it all is just being in community, and that's what our overall mission is we want to be in community and have fun and play sports and play kickball, bocce, what have you, and just feel that your community is supporting you and uplifting you when you can, and overall just have fun. Like, we want to have fun. We want to not feel like that there's a stigma that when you go to play different sports that you have to be the best. You can be the best, you can be whoever you want to be, as long as you're out playing in the field with everybody and having fun and enjoying company. And that's what I love about Stonewall. It just has that sense of community that I like. I guess I'll go into how I
because you weren't so sure at first. You were like, wait a minute.
No, I wasn't. So, I'm from Las Vegas, and I moved here back in 2014. And when I came here in Minneapolis, I didn't really have any friends. I didn't know what this Minneapolis scene was about, and if there were any queer or LGBT people. Um, and so I came here looking for friends, and it took a while. And it wasn't until after the pandemic where a friend of mine was like, "Hey, we really a, I need you to play." And I'm like, "No, I don't know if I want to play kickball. I haven't played kickball since like grade school." And he was very persistent. It was Will, and he was like, "I really need you to play because we won't have a team if you don't play." And I'm like, I begrudgingly was like, "Okay, fine, I'll join. I'll do a season, and then I can go back to having, like doing other things." And that's when I think the first game, that's why I fell in love. Like, I saw how like fun it was just to like kick a ball around and just feeling like I was with a group of friends, and it just grew into that. Like at first I was like hesitant, like, is this really something I really want to dive into? And then the tournament came along, and I met Suzanne, and here I am today, working with her, planning a gala for for 10 years. So it's
And,
been great.
and I'd also like to hear from both of you how you decided that you would take on leadership roles, because you're both in leadership roles. Suzanne, you're both at Twin Cities and the National. And Chris, you've moved up and you're now, the special events director. So how did that move from like, I like this organization to I am going to be part of the board and I want to take a leadership role?
I'll start and then I'll tag Chris in, cause I think I know his origin story and then he can flesh it out. I am kind of a bossy person and I tend to, go to a meeting and end up joining. When we moved into our neighborhood, I went to a neighborhood association meeting and then ended up on the board. Like these are the things that I do. I do believe you have a responsibility when you have time and talent and passion in a community to give back. And I was lucky enough. I was playing Stonewall. It was only kickball for the first 2 or 3 years, and then dodgeball started, and I played dodgeball. And then their chapter rep at that time decided he wanted to start bocce. And that's kind of the way any new sport starts, is that someone says, we should play this sport. And then the leaders of Stonewall go, great, do you want to run it? And get us the budget and where should we play it? And so Joel, he wanted to start bocce, and he had been the chapter rep, which is now called a chapter director. And so Josh Coxon, our original president, asked me if I would be interested or willing to be our Twin Cities rep on the national board so that Joel could start bocce. And I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. I didn't realize that I would go to both the local meetings and the national meetings, which was like twice as many meetings as most people in that role. And then I was the chapter rep for the Twin Cities for 2.5 years or so when the national tournament director position opened up. Knowing that it was coming to the Twin Cities the next year, I felt like I needed to throw my hat in the ring. And then I was approved or voted on to become the national tournament director, and did that for 2.5 years. And I just rolled off of the board in December. So I'm not in any of those roles now. But what's really, really fun is that now I get to take on some special projects that I wished I had time for before. So I have one foot in the national tournament still. I'm running their women, trans, and non-binary kickball for the national tournament this year, as well as a field day. And I still get to order all the swag and fun store items for the tournament because I love doing that. And then locally, I get to help with the gala. And when I was the tournament director, I was already friends with Will. This is Chris's and my friend. And Will came on to be our sponsorship director and said, I have another person that I think would be great in this role. And I had seen Chris before, but I didn't really know him. And he came on under me as national tournament director at our Twin Cities tournament to be one of our sponsorships directors. And since then, we've been really good friends and both in leadership.
And the national tournament, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Chris shared with me earlier that it's kind of like the Olympics of
I did call it that. I was like,
Okay, I wouldn't go that far. It's queer sports summer camp.
Okay, all right.
I was a kid who grew up going to camp every summer, and I know how powerful like those really intense relationships can be for like a week or a weekend or whatever. And so it's that. Different chapters have different sports. So at the national tournament, there are more sports than we just do in the Twin Cities, including indoor and sand volleyball, and billiards, and a few other things that have come and gone, ultimate frisbee. And all of that to say, it happens once a year. This coming year, it's in Virginia Beach. But a couple years back, it was here in the Twin Cities.
Terrific. And Chris, I'd love to have you share a little more about how you got into the leadership role and how you were recruited into that leadership role.
Again, it was our friend Will that was like, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" And I begrudgingly like, I don't know, sounds like a lot of work, and I don't know if I really want to do this. And then I think what gets me is like I just care about our like community, and I just like look at all the folks that I've played with and met over the time. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I do this? Why wouldn't I like throw my hat in and see what I can, like what skills I can throw in and be a part of and just continue building community, because it gave me like a sense of community, and I wanted to give that back. And then I met Suzanne, and I'm like, oh, I can't leave from her like her queendom. So
there we go.
I just kept going from there, and then I got asked to run for sponsorships and events, and so I did that. And here like it's essentially my friends telling me like I should do this, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I end up doing it because
they've gotten to know your style. That he'll say no, but then he'll do it.
Just give me some time, and I'll think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
A quick question. Go ahead. Go ahead, Suzanne.
I think too, I mean, it's an all volunteer run organization. And what I always tell people, and Chris has heard this a million times, is if you think we could do a better job, great, come and volunteer. And so I apply that to myself too. Like, there were things I wanted to see happen in the league. And so I put myself in positions to hopefully help make them happen. And I think that's true for so many parts of community, right? Like, when you see things that you care about and want them to be a space that is what you hope it will be for your community, then you have a stake in it, but you also have a responsibility to it. And so, hopefully both Chris and I and everyone else will keep improving this thing we love and leave it in a better place for the next people who can do better than we have.
And speaking of that, you're going to have a great party. And I want to make sure that folks know about this great party and that we're all invited to come to the party September 26th. It's going to be at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. You've got the North Star as your theme, l'Étoile du Nord. It's going to have a gala dinner and a dance party. September 1st, I want to make sure folks know that September 1st is the deadline to get in for the full evening about both the dinner and the dance party. And there's going to be special programming with speakers, a silent auction, admission to the dance party afterwards. Dance party, I hear there's going to be a red carpet entrance. It's going to be very she. Music, dancing, community. Big things that I want folks to know is if you want to become part of this party, it's going to be fabulous. But September 1st is the deadline for the dinner and dance. And dancing opportunities will be through September 24th. Correct? Great.
That is correct. Yeah.
In our next segment, what we're going to do is we're going to talk some more about stories and special things that have happened over the last 10 years. Where have you been? Where are you going? And all that good stuff. But I also want to go, before we go to our commercial, I want to make sure folks know, go to StonewallTwinCities.org. From there, you can navigate to the 10th anniversary. There's a gala tab there. And again, that's StonewallTwinCities.org. And when you navigate to the gala, just as you go down, you'll see that there's a place to buy your ticket, and buy your ticket now before they run out, because it's going to be a fabulous event. AM 950 is one of the sponsors, and we plan to be there, and we're going to have a great time too. So stay with us. We'll be talking more with our good friends here on Connections Radio Show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and welcome to Connections Radio, where we talk about ideas that matter. And I'm glad you've joined the conversation, because we're talking about Stonewall sports in the Twin Cities. And it's about sports, fun, gala magic, and celebrating the LGBTQIA and allies big party coming up on September 26th. We have Chris Candido, who is the sponsorships and events director for Stonewall Sports Twin Cities. We also have Suzanne Blum Grundyson, who is the Twin Cities rep and national tournament director emeritus. And currently, her title is Queen of Special Projects, and she has spent more than 5 years on Stonewall Sports National Board. Welcome to both of you. And Suzanne, I'm so sorry that I didn't say your last name correctly. I will get it by the third segment, I promise. And I would love to.
It's all good.
I'd love to have you share some stories with us, especially things that have like maybe happened over the 10 years as you've grown, things that are like benchmarks to think about as we're celebrating your 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, I want to say one of my favorite things about Stonewall as a whole, and then I'll give you some stories, is that you can really come in at any level of athleticism or knowledge of sport or age or ability. As Chris knows, like I play pretty competitively at dodgeball. I really, really love it. But I am hitting the older side of life. And so kickball, though my knowledge is really, really high, my knees are really, really old. And so I definitely play at like a lower competition level now than I would have in my 20s or 30s. And then we have like bocce, which I play. And I basically have a team with a bunch of teacher friends. I'm a teacher. And it's our time to like, everyone brings snacks and drinks and chairs and pick a little table. And we talk to each other and occasionally throw a bocce ball. And sometimes we win and sometimes we lose. But it's our weekly get together in the summer. And so people can come into Stonewall because they're really athletic and want to be competitive. They could come in because they want to meet new people and form community. They could come in because they have friends they want to have a regular hangout with and move their bodies and be present in their bodies, right? There's all kinds of different reasons and ways to enter into our community. A couple of my favorite things about Stonewall or fun stories for me are that, when I first started in kickball, our team tended to be, this was back in 16, 17, 18, a lot of gay men who had barely or rarely played sports unless they were forced to, hated PE maybe because of often adverse or traumatic experiences in locker rooms or in PE classes, or just not feeling welcome in the world of sports. And then a lot of lesbians and queer women and non-binary folks who maybe played a lot of sports. And that was really where they found their home as sportier or more, as we used to say when I was young, tomboy, women. And so it was such an interesting microcosm of our queer community, because I just remember teaching a lot of people the rules of teaching them about diamond sports or teaching them the rules. I umpire and I have coached in my past. And so, those are some stories, and they still happen, and they're less gendered now. Thank God, because the world is changing. And I think kids and younger people are finding more places in sport than they did maybe when they were my age. But when I first started, that was definitely the experience that a lot of people had. And what was so lovely about it for me as a woman was that I was seen immediately as an expert because of my experience, which doesn't always happen in the world of sport.
You were the
women.
pro.
Yeah. And so those are some of the like origin fun stories. I had a great team for many years, Purple Rain. We played together for many years. And then I decided to start our Twin Cities first women, trans, and non-binary only kickball team. We were called the Lavender Menace. We were a sister team to Purple Rain and an ode to lesbians in the 70s who fought for women's rights. And from there, the league has expanded so much, and now we have several teams with several different affinity groups in several sports. But those were some of my favorite first memories. The other first memory, and then I'm going to definitely pass it to Chris, was playing dodgeball my first year. I remember getting really bad because you get hit in the face and you feel really targeted. And I remember being like, I love this community, and why is this sport making me so mad? And we had to really talk through. And as a community, we spent a lot of time, especially in leadership and with the refs and captains of dodgeball, talking about some toxicity that happens in the game. And even like, you know, some of the feelings that come up for some of us in sport when someone's throwing stuff at you or when you're feeling targeted, and really talking through that. And I think for a lot of us across the gender spectrum and across the age spectrum, for a lot of us, it's been a healing space for us to maybe have a much better sport opportunity or sport experience in a community that's safe, where we can be competing. I know that I felt so great when I got Chris out last winter in dodgeball. And then afterwards, we can give each other a hug and high five and be friends and go out together and hang out. And that really can heal or like create bonds in ways that for a lot of us may need from growing up as an LGBTQ person, where sport isn't always a safe place for everybody to be fully themselves.
It kind of reminds me of your mission statement, and work towards positive change for each other and those in need. And you may not even know who those in need are, right? And it's in the game itself that you start to be able to sense into each other as a team what might be good for each other. And I love that you spent some time looking at, is this a metaphor for some other challenges that we faced? And how can we create positive change even in the way that we look at the sport and how we want to show up in the sport and how we want to take it as an opportunity to explore other things that may be going on for ourselves?
Absolutely.
Chris,
do you have any fun stories?
I do have a story, and it's a more recent story, and it makes me like, I'll share it. So it's earlier this year during the Operation Metro Surge, and being a person of color, I was terrified about ICE being present and just overall the vibe of the country. And I remember we had dodgeball, and I come in and there's people that are surveilling and making sure that all of our players are safe. People were organizing a food drive to ensure that families were safe. And that's when I saw that how bigger Stonewall was our communities are like rising up and like protecting our neighbors. And sorry, I'm getting emotional talking about it,
it's
but
wonderful. No.
it's
Metro Surge was such a powerful and terrible event, and to have so many communities and organizations find not only our voice but find our connection to each other and support to each other is just something that I don't get tired of hearing and talking and sharing and encouraging folks to keep thinking about, because what happened was epic here, and what you all did for each other and continue to do for each other is very powerful.
And I just remember we walking in and for the first time not feeling afraid because I was with friends and family playing dodgeball and throwing a ball. And it was one I guess a relief that I can be myself and play with friends and just have a good time and not have to worry what's outside.
And you were cared about, that
and I was cared about, exactly.
You're important, and you're cared about, and you're part of a team that
Yeah.
wants you there.
And I want to add to that. During that time, it was winter, so that's when dodgeball is our largest sport in the winter. I play on a different team than Chris, but I had put out. I'm a high school teacher here in the Twin Cities, and I had put out that I might need help getting some students to school who weren't feeling safe waiting for the bus. And I have never spoken about politics. I mean, we're all queer, but I had never spoken about politics with my dodgeball team, but immediately had guys I play with and don't really hang out with much outside of Sundays, picking up some of my students for several months and bringing them to school. I had another guy I knew from kickball years ago that I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 years, who started delivering groceries for some of our families, who is bilingual. And so our sport community, you know, I kind of joke that it's like church for me as someone who grew up in church, and don't really go anymore. There's ritual. There's the people that you know really in depth and sit by and sing with and hang out with and go to their homes. But there's also the familiar faces that you just know, oh, they're on that team, or they have a really good kick, or, oh, watch out, they can really throw. And you don't know them as well, but you know that when you need something, folks will step up, and you can ask, and you can show up and be fully yourself, and you can flirt, and you can joke, and they're just all of the identities that our community encompasses are welcome in our community. And we're not perfect, and people make mistakes, but also there's some accountability. Our captains and our leaders really try to foster teams that are healthy and relational, and different teams have really different ethos. You know, we have some very competitive teams that you can tell maybe go to the gym together. And we have other teams that you can tell like maybe do crafting together, or, you know, have other things they do together, and everything in between. And there's all these little microcosms, but when push comes to shove, in our different leagues and sports, we come together. Or I'm a Lynx WNBA season ticket holder, and I have people come up to me in Stonewall or at the Lynx games because they know me from one or the other. And those are overlapping communities, right? Of love for sport, love for fair game, love for women, love for queer communities. And I see it really overlap in the Twin Cities in ways that you never know. You can be at the doctor's office or voting or, you know, running groceries, and you run into someone and you know each other.
I have to believe that it was a challenge during COVID. And how did you navigate your sports community through that period?
Yeah, that was really hard. We were very lucky that our vice president at the time was a doctor. And so he helped us with a lot of our policies. And at the national level, we were also creating some policies. So in warmer climates, they do a lot more outdoors than we do here in the Twin Cities. But we suspended a lot of our operations for a season or two. And then we had vaccination policies when we returned, and masking policies. And, you know, one of the things we did, myself and other people did some trivia online. We did a lot of like Zoom and Google Meet trivia within our Stonewall community. There were many mini communities popping up of like, there was a community our friend Erin led, where every Sunday night we'd watch a musical and be online together and comment on it. You know, there were lots of different ways that people found to connect, just like they did throughout COVID in other communities. But we wanted to maintain and keep that connection. You know, the tournament that year was canceled. The national tournament was canceled that year. And a lot of things were suspended, just like they were everywhere. But the board started meeting more through Zoom, and then started trying to create activities through Zoom. And then when it felt safe, playing kickball and bocce outdoors and tennis outdoors with precautions.
I have to believe that helped build some of the trust and some of the interconnectedness when, you know, we're all facing a scary moment. You know, you're there for each other. And then I have to believe that also led to then further trust in terms of when the Metro surge came, that was kind of the next level of being there for each other.
I have one more great story, and then I promise I'm going to pass it to Chris. During COVID, someone in a Stonewall group said that they were missing playing the cello, and did anyone have a cello they could borrow? And I barely knew this person like at all, but I work at a high school. So I messaged the band teacher, said, can I borrow a cello for a friend? He was like, yeah, we're not rehearsing, right? So I borrowed a cello for this guy I knew from Stonewall and brought it over. And he gave me baked goods in return. And we realized we both really like to cook and bake. And so we started doing like every week or two exchange of cooking and baking. And then the neighborhood I live in had all these outdoor front porch concerts because we have a lot of musicians. I live in Midtown Phillips. We had a lot of musicians in our block. And so we started gathering together as it got warm in the summer to go to these concerts. So I invited my friend Sam, who plays the cello, and he's a professional musician, to come to these outdoor concerts. And within a year and a half, they bought the house three houses down in the corner. And they're our neighbors and some of our best friends now. And all of that came because we were on a Stonewall Facebook group together and he wanted a cello. And now we cat sit for each other and have keys to each other's homes and still cook for each other all the time. And, you know, those kinds of friendships and that kind of community, like I that would have never happened had we not been connected by playing in the same league.
And I love that he felt comfortable going, hey, I'd like a cello. I mean, that's not something that you normally just ask out there. Does anyone have like a connection with a cello? Because I really am hungry for doing some cello work, you know. And there was, and you did, and so there's kind of like a greater connectiveness that allows people to just know that it's safe to ask that, and it's who knows what could come of it and why not, and let's explore, which led to such a wonderful, heartwarming story that you're now like new best friends that live down the street.
Absolutely.
From
yeah,
he and his
husband are two of our closest friends.
Chris, do you have another good story?
My story is when Stonewall partnered with Twin Cities Queer Hockey Association for their annual kickball tournament. And we came and I kind of gathered a few friends and some teammates to play with them against other organizations. I think they invited the Grey Ducks, the Queer Soccer League. They invited the Twin Cities Good Time Softball League, and the hockey. So we played one Saturday in like 98-degree weather. And we played for the whole afternoon, and our team ended up winning their championship tournament. And so that was like a proud moment because I captained and I never captained before because it was very intimidating. And I was so proud that we were able to take the win. But in all fairness, I think we won because we play kickball every Sunday versus if we were to play hockey or any other sport, we would probably not dominate. But it's one of those things like it's still part of our community. Like they are part of our community because there are a lot of people play in different other leagues, but we come in and we still have fun and play and just be in community.
What I love about hearing these stories is that I'm imagining when I come to your 10-year anniversary, I'll be hearing stories like this and more of them. And I want to encourage folks, if you're having fun today, as I am having so much fun today hearing these stories, consider coming to their 10-year anniversary gala. This is for Stonewall Sports. It's going to be at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. So we're talking shishi and we're talking way fun. It's a gala dinner and dance party. So you can come for the gala dinner and dance, or you can come for the dance party. They both exist. They coexist. If you want to do the full meal deal, you can do the gala and the dance. The gala and the dance has a September 1st deadline, but you can keep coming for the dance all the way through September 24th for signing up. There's going to be special programming, speakers. There's going to be a silent auction that benefits the Twin Cities Pride. Highly encourage folks coming. And to buy your ticket is very simple. We encourage you to go to stonewalltwincities.org and then navigate to the 10th anniversary gala tab. And again, that's the stonewalltwincities.org. Navigate to that gala, and then you can scroll down and find a way to buy tickets for either or both, or just come and have fun. It's going to be a crazy good event. We're going to talk some more about all the cool things that are going to happen at the event in our next segment. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes after some great commercials with folks that are supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Welcome back to Connections Radio Show. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and we've been having a wonderful day learning about stories of the Stonewall sports in the Twin Cities, learning about the organization, and getting excited about the upcoming gala. We have Chris Candido, who is the Sponsorships and Events Director for Stonewall Sports Twin Cities. We have Suzanne Blum Grundyson. I promised I get it right. Grundyson of the Twin Cities chapter rep, and she's the National Tournament Emeritus. And she currently, her title is Queen of Special Projects, and she spent more than 5 years on the Stonewall Sports National Board. What I'd love to do is have Chris tell us about a special promotion that's coming up that makes a statement and something that we should pay attention to and be supporting. So Chris, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah. So on top of the gala, we are also partnering with Outfront Minnesota to do a field day where we'll have WTMB, cornhole, bocce, just different field games that we will have from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. On September 26th. We'll invite some food trucks, so come along. There's no registration needed. Everyone's welcome. And it's to advertise that sports are for everyone. It's not just for one gender. It's for everybody. Everyone can have fun, play games, play sports, and just be in community.
And anyone can come and play a game. So it's open, and we're there to just kind of kick the ball or throw for the cornball or cornwall or
exactly.
Or just kick some balls. Get the sports names right. All that good stuff. And where is that going to be again?
It's in the Washburn Fair Oaks Park, right outside the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. Okay. We rented some space there for folks to come, have fun, and just be in community, play some sports, and just show that anyone can play sports.
Play sports, get sweaty, then go home and change and get zhuzhed for the gala.
That's great. So the Stonewall Sports Twin Cities 10-year gala celebration, it's turning 10 years old, and you're celebrating this unforgettable evening with honoring the players, the volunteers, leaders, and supporters who shaped the league over the past decade. It's going to be an evening filled with celebration, reflection, dancing, and plenty of opportunities to hang with players and friends from across the league. Suzanne, I know you've got something special that you want to make sure folks know about as well.
Yeah, well, there's a couple things. First of all, you can come for the whole package. You could get a table with your team and have a delicious dinner. The catering's out of this world. And it's being hosted by our own Twin Cities royalty, Dick Von Dyke. If you don't know, they are an amazing drag king. And there will be an auction. There will be speakers, both from our local chapter and nationally, as well as some local leaders, local civic leaders. But also, if that feels outside of your price range, because we know that's not accessible for everybody. There is just the dance that you can do, not just the dance. It's going to be such a good dance party. You can come after the dinner and join everyone in the dancing. There will still be performances and entertainment, and so many opportunities. And there is financial assistance available on the website. We do have a budget for it. It's not unlimited. But if you are interested, now is the time to get yourself on there. And you can ask for partial reimbursement or even full coverage as part of our community. to join us there. We don't want that access to be a barrier. And just so you know, in Stonewall Sports, throughout the year in all of our sports, we always have financial assistance available as well. We have player assistance funds. We always want sports to be accessible for all genders, all abilities, all ages. Well, you have to be 21 and over. It's an adult league. But we really believe that this community is for all of our queer community and our allies.
And registering for these events just occur over the year. So just keep going back to the website, check it out and see if there's something there that you'd like to sign up for. And the best way to go to that website is the stonewalltwincities.org. And there's a place where you can get a tab to what the games are and what the registration currently is.
Yeah.
I would say that's the best way, or following our Instagram. Stonewall Sports Twin Cities always has the link tree attached, and upcoming registrations are always listed there.
Go for it, Chris. You're about to say something as well.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying, I know right now, I think dodgeball, pickleball, and bowling is going to be available soon for registration. So keep an eye out for that.
Well, I am excited about the sports, but I'm also really excited about this gala coming up. I mentioned before, it's at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. There's a gala dinner as well as a dance party. You can, as Suzanne mentioned, you can do both the gala dinner and the dance party. But if you want to come a little later and you just want to hang out with the dance is great too. At the dance, you're going to have these great red carpet entrance, but you're also going to have light bites and dessert. So there are some sweet treats for you. There's music, dancing, and a whole sense of community celebration, as well as if you want to go up to the second floor and check out the Jade Corridor and the Rotunda festivities up on the second floor of the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. There's going to be things there happening as well. The tickets are very simple to get. You just go to, again, the Stonewall twincities.org, and you just go over a couple tabs and it'll say gala, and then you go down and it's like, buy your tickets here. Suzanne, do you want to say anything else special about this event coming up and what it means to you?
Well, I just think it's important when you're in community to take time to step back, reflect, and celebrate what you've accomplished. 10 years ago, I couldn't have imagined the friendships and communities and 7 sports and countless t-shirts I now have acquired over the years from all these teams. And all the places it's brought me. I'm about to go to my 5th national tournament. So I've been to 4 other, cities and the friends I've made around the country, but I couldn't have imagined all of that, 10 years ago when I just joined an 8-week kickball league, for the summer. And I think it's always important when we can to take a minute and sit back and reflect and celebrate what we have accomplished. And I want to make sure we celebrate our original founders and leaders and for them having the vision and doing the hard work of laying the groundwork. And I want to make sure we encourage our current participants and younger folks and leaders and people throughout our community to step up into these roles and let them know there is a place for them in Stonewall Sports and in the Twin Cities for them to be fully themselves, fully present in their bodies, get to play, get to have fun, get to be in community. I think this beautiful institution, the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, is such a lovely setting for us to celebrate because art is always about expressing yourselves, right? And art is also about resistance. And our queer communities know so much about expressing ourselves and living in resistance and celebrating and finding the beauty in that. And so it feels like such a full circle moment in so many ways to be in that place together with the friends that usually I'm in, cleats and knee braces and no makeup, and to think about putting on a dress and lipstick and, really celebrating and being together. And just for everyone to know, the dress code is to be fabulous. So whatever makes you feel fabulous is what you should wear.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's great. A quick shout out, Chris, and then I'll make sure that I say the website one more time. But give us a quick shout out.
Oh, yeah. So please go to stonewalltwincities.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot of cool things that are happening in our league. It's also I also wanted to mention before I forget, DJ Queen Dween is DJing for the dance party.
Oh, she's so
who
good.
Also DJ'd for our national tournament. But yeah, we have some great things happening at the gala. So yeah, don't forget to buy tickets.
Buy tickets, and we're delighted at AM 950 and the Gailey Show to be supporting and being a sponsor. We're thrilled to be there as well. We look forward to seeing everyone. Come join the party. Have fun.